Burgundy Ballers, welcome back to another episode of the Ballin Burgundy podcast. Got myself, Chris, Andrew, and we got one of the sponsors, one of our go-to guys. He's been on in a hot minute. We've got to get him back on with one of the best episodes in the offseason, our guy, Corey Sanchez. Corey, what's happening?
What's up, fellas? Thanks for having me again. Good to be back.
Absolutely. Chris, Andrew, what's happening?
Not a whole lot. Still waiting, but it's soon. It's coming.
Soon. Chris, I'm waiting. I'm waiting.
Became a statue.
He did. There we go. He's unfrozen. Oh, yeah. We got an absolute heater of an episode coming y'all's way. Justin's not here right now. He's in some family issues right now. As a prayers out to him, prayers out for Corey's family on all ends. If you guys follow Corey on any social media, you know he's going through some good and some bad runs. So prayers out for you, Corey, and your family from me. Absolutely. But, man, we got a lot to talk about. AFC title and NFC title games just happened last night as of recording. We got heavy rumors about who will be the next head coach. And we got an absolute banger of an episode talking about Ron Rivera's absolute worst draft picks and free agent signings. Before we even get into that, don't forget to like and subscribe here on the channel. Head over to Instagram, TikTok, and our Twitter account. Go follow us all over there. We're going to have absolute bangers coming out, whether it's draft prospect breakdowns, mock drafts, interviews, all the whole nine, ideal offseason. You're going to want to follow us all over there. Head over to OnTheWarpath, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, or at Corey Sanchez on Facebook. If you can find him, go follow him. Don't do that, actually.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Go follow him over there. Go support him. It's been an absolute beast for us and a great sponsor since day one for us. Go follow him. He's been nothing but love and support here at BIB, and we cannot thank him enough, as well as all the other sponsors, Rio, Tone, and WSHOnTheDaily. Let's get into this. Let's start with the NFC and the AFC title games that happened yesterday. Personally, I could go absolutely heat. But for those who did not watch, and if you did not watch, shame on you. Kansas City wins another goddamn playoff road game.
Mm-hmm.
This side in M&T Bank Stadium against the Baltimore Ravens, 17-10. And then the Detroit Lions go on the road to Santa Clara, to San Francisco, and drop a Detroit Lions ball to lose 34-31 against the Niners. Fellas, Corey, I'm going to start with you. What was your thoughts on that game?
Ooh. Oh, gosh. Which one are we talking about? We're talking about the NFC Championship game, or are you talking about the AFC Championship game?
Whichever one you want to start with.
Oh, gosh. I'll start with the first one then. I think that you can't beat my homeboy, right? My homeboy he's building his own legend, and all they needed was 17 points, and then that defense went out there and played a lights out game. But then you also look at on Baltimore Ravens side, Todd Monken, Lamar Jackson. Todd Monken, I think, lost the game for him offensively. You can't be dropping back Lamar Jackson 37 times. He's not that type of quarterback, having 8 design runs. That's not winning football. They needed to do more design runs with Lamar Jackson, kind of like what they did against Houston. Gave him the ball, let him kind of take over and be that distributor. You have Odell Beckham on your team offensively, and I didn't know he was on the team until the fourth quarter, because that's when he actually got in and actually got his first target. Zay Flowers is a moron. The fact that you're down 10, you get a first down, and you're going to stand. Not only do you hit somebody, you're going to stand over. Like, bro, you're down by 10. And then for you to do what you did, dive into the end zone, didn't have enough wherewithal to just hold that ball and got it knocked out by Sneak. Come on now. Baltimore looked so unprepared, which was uncharacteristic of this Baltimore Ravens squad. And Kansas City did what they did. I mean, Kansas City got shut out offensively in the second half, and they held Baltimore to 3 points. That's a testament not only to Spagnuolo, but also to Andy Reid. And when they needed the big play, they got it. Mahomes got Valdez-Scantling, and then Travis Kelce, man. It's the luck of 1989 for him. So find those blank spaces and all that stuff. And hey, they going on to the Super Bowl once again.
That they are. That they are. Andrew, you want to take this over?
I'll take it over. I would say I'm pissed about both of those games. However, I don't think pissed does it justice. That was one of the worst Sundays of football that I have watched. I mean, it was just painful. The first game, watching the Ravens offensively, Lamar trying to make every play way more complicated and way bigger than it needed to be. There were so many smaller things that he missed. Times where he could have ran for the first down easily, times he could have easily taken a flat option to Mark Andrews, gotten a first down there. Instead, he's heaving it way downfield, double, triple coverage. And then you get to Zay Flowers, his lack of ball security, his ego taking over. It was painful to watch. But in the end, it comes down to Mahomes being who he is in the playoffs. You never want to face Mahomes in the playoffs. I mean, he is just a different guy. And as much as I don't like that team, I respect them for that. And I respect their ability to win. The only thing that I do not respect at all about them is the new fans that they're going to bring into the NFL this season, and how the Super Bowl is now being labeled as a Swiftie Super Bowl. So that's what I'm having a hard time with, because just not a fan of the NFL Swifties now, and that it's painful.
It's rough. It's rough. Look, I can respect Taylor Swift as an entrepreneur, as an
totally.
entertainer.
Yep.
Like I was alive when and conscious and aware when she, debuted into country and went on. She did great. But it's the media, right? And Chris, I'll let you go here in a second. We're not mad at Taylor Swift. We're mad at the media and the fans for saying, "Oh, touchdown! Where's Taylor Swift? Where's she at? Where's she at? Where's she at?
Yep.
Where's the blonde hair, blue eyes at? Next to Brittany, get out of frame. Taylor, so act. Just do what you need to do. Like, come on now.
Every time 87 touches the ball,
Not even 87. Any touchdown, Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
TD, no, TS. Where is she?
I mean, she's a good person, but
She is.
just the media's attention.
She is.
Her. It's ruining it, man.
Yeah, I think we all agree. So we're not hating on Taylor Swift or mad at Taylor Swift, because she's not ruining football by any such. She's a fan, and she's a significant other, just supporting her other one, right? It's just the media pushing. Hey, here she is. They don't do it for Eminem or Dr. Dre or Snoop Dogg or LeBron James whenever they're just stop it. But Chris, go ahead. My apologies.
All good. I'm about to cut this like a good wrestling promo here. Here we go. Yeah, here we go. Had to start off with the Dak Prescott here we go thing. Anyways, let's talk about this AFC Championship game, because I'm telling you right now, this game got boring quick. It got boring quick. All right, because look, I even had my girl over at my house yesterday, and we was watching this game, bro. This is how boring it got. She fell asleep. And she was like, you even got me into watching football. And she still fell asleep. That's how boring it was, all right? Now, let's talk about Taylor Swift in the Super Bowl and whatever, all right? They're saying this is going to be the most watched Super Bowl because of Taylor Swift. All right. Shout out to Washington Commanders Alley on there on Instagram. Nobody's watching it because of Taylor Swift. Let's be real. The only people that are going to be watching it because of her are the people that have no life whatsoever, and all they do is listen to Taylor Swift, who does heartbreak high school songs that she dated in high school. All right. And then God, it's bad. All right, it's bad. But anyways, now getting to the NFC title game. That was a good game, actually. But here is my question, right? This happened 10 10 years ago. And the Niners were in that championship game. And guess who they faced? The Falcons. Falcons were up 24-7. They went 12-3-1 that year. Had a good year. They were at home. They were up 24-7. They blew that lead and lost the game. Next thing you know, they went downhill next couple of years. Is the same thing going to happen to Detroit? Is it because they were up 24-7, then blew it? Not only that, I believe there was a former Eagles player that is now on the lines by the name of C.J. Gardner-Johnson doing this to the fans, waving them by in the second quarter, 5 minutes ago in the second quarter. Sir, do you not realize you had a half to go? Did you? Did you not realize that? You still had 35 minutes of football time left? So, now because of it, and I'm not going to lie, I wanted the Lions to win, right? But now because of it, I have to hear about Taylor Swift for the next 2 weeks versus Brock Purdy. Yes, people say it's the worst outcome, but if we're being realistic, it's going to be a good matchup.
Yeah.
We have a rematch. We have star power. This is like Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns, number 2, coming in Philly in April. But it's the rematch. But I'm telling you right now, if they show Taylor Swift about 1,000 times on that damn camera, bro, I'm turning off that damn game. I don't care. Zero F's given, all right?
Hopefully she doesn't even.
Oh, good.
Hopefully she doesn't even make it because she's supposed to be in Tokyo
Hey,
24 hours before it. So
please, I pray to the football gods that she does not make it. Nothing like bad happened to her. I just hope she I can't take it anymore.
I mean, fair enough. I'll make mine quick. AFC title game. It was a better defensive matchup because I said this when I was watching this with my girlfriend and her dad and love you all. Is the AFC title game was a better defensive game. If you're a defensive minded guy, this was your game to watch, right?
Yep.
Now, Zay Flowers, you can't be doing the stupid stuff. You can't be the referee was right behind you. Okay. Guess what? You stood up, you looked at the guy. All right, then walk off, right? Because they wouldn't have called you taunting. Not only did you stand up, you looked at the guy, flipped the ball around, took a step back, stared down his soul, and then turned around. There's the flag, right? So there's 15 yards that you just lost after a big time play. Then your fumble in the end zone, that's a touchback. We can have a debate all day long about should they keep this rule? Is this a bad rule? Is it ruining football? It's fine. It's a rule. It's not really hurting anybody. It's not like, roughing the passer or taunting that everyone's like, that's a stupid rule. Everyone and their mother knows those stupid rules, right? So Zay Flowers should have held onto that ball, should have put 2 hands behind it, or at least, cup it to your body. But no, you want to fumble because there's 10 points. At a minimum, there's 6 points, right? At the most, 10-14. So you would have won the game, allegedly, right? So there's that, and the clock management just wasn't there. NFC Championship game, I blame Dan Campbell more than most, right? You had 2 4-down conversions within your own territory that you did not convert. So there's a minimum of 6 points right there. How many did you lose by? 3. If you kicked one of those, you would have been tied. If you had kicked one of those field goals, right?
You would have went into overtime.
You could have gone to overtime. And people forget. I don't think Jake Moody made the first field goal because San Francisco made their first drive and whiffed.
Mm-hmm.
So there's 37-37. Well, what's the other score that another 4th down they didn't convert? There's another 3 points. There's 40-37. You could have won this game. You did not show up in the second half, right? The score was 24-7 going into 24-7 going into halftime. I guarantee you Shanahan had 28-3 flashbacks. But on the other side, Because if you do some math, you take 4 points out of 7, you put them to 24. There's 28-3. Sorry, Falcons fans. So Shanahan's been on both sides, and let's be honest. Who here had on their bingo cards Brock Purdy running for like 20 yards within 3 plays? I didn't.
Nope.
On both those plays, I said, this man Turner Stone Cold said that's how the white man runs the football. I'm like, man. But I thought it was a great game because I did not see Detroit. Like, okay, cool. 7-7 right off the bat, or 7-0 right off the bat. Cool. And then J-Mo has that breakout touchdown. Jameer has another. I'm like, where the fuck did he come from? Another touchdown. 21. Field goal. 24. And then as soon as it got up, slowly came back down. So it is what it is. It is the rematch. I have no dog in this race, but we'll get predictions maybe on another episode or later in this episode. Who knows? But I thought they were both great games. I thought for what did America quote unquote lose? I guess because I really wanted Ravens Lions, and that if either Ravens or Lions won that Super Bowl, everyone wins. And mentally everyone wins because either Lamar wins his first Super Bowl or the city of Detroit wins. So either way you win. But good games. It's still going to be a good Super Bowl regardless. Yeah, 34-31 as Core always got on his background.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. There we go.
You have it on my background.
There you go. But yeah,
hilarious.
Yeah, that is hilarious. Hey, but it works though. Hey, it works. But yeah, if for the NFL script writers, you couldn't have wrote a better script. You could have Lions versus Ravens, but if you wanted the two red and gold teams to go to the Super Bowl, you could have wrote a better script. It is what it is.
You could have done the burgundy and gold.
Hey. That's a great segue. Let's talk about our burgundy and gold.
Take advantage of that.
I'll take advantage of that, my friend. Thank you very much for that segue. Let's talk about these head coach. Let's talk about these head coach rumors, huh? Because now that both the Ravens and the Lions are out of contention, they're not going to no big bowl. They're not going to Panera for some soup. Ben Standig, shout out to him on X. Earlier this morning, as we record, he said a busy 48 hours for the Commanders ahead. For today, as of Monday, we had Anthony Weaver and Mike McDonald for in-person schedule interviews. And for tomorrow, Tuesday, when this comes out, Dan Quinn, Aaron Glenn, and they were going out to Detroit to talk with Ben Johnson. We could easily have a head coach within a week.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Getting Adam Peters as GM makes this even sweeter. I'm gonna go reverse order this time. Chris, I'm gonna start with you. Who's your prediction as head coach? Ben Johnson or Double M Mike McDonald?
Ben Johnson. 100%. Reason I say that is because I feel like we need an offensive-minded guy that can team up with EB in a way, to make the plays a little better. Because if we're being real, some of EB's plays this year were kind of off, if you know what I mean.
Wait. Hold on. Let me get this straight. You think EB stays as OC?
I honestly think. I think he does because I think hear me out. The reason I say that is because I think Magic Johnson and Josh Harris are going to look at him and be like, okay, he was part of the Rivera staff, but it was his first year, to where Rivera was here 4 years along with Jack Del Rio. So, EB gets a pass because he wasn't hired under the Dan Snyder regime, to where the other two were. And I think if the offense doesn't exceed expectations next year and completely flops, then yes, you get EB out of here. Or if they wanted to, they just get rid of him right now and then just, I think call him Ben Johnson and be like, hey, not only are you going to be the head coach, You're going to be calling the offensive plays, obviously,
So
But
so
I think
interesting. Okay, no,
I
finish up.
think they're going to keep EB if they were to hire Ben Johnson.
Interesting take. I haven't heard that one lately, but I don't actually hate it because we haven't officially fired him.
Yeah.
We haven't.
I don't hate it.
Let me
Andrew-
cook.
Andrew, go ahead.
This is honestly an interesting discussion. And I'm going to side with Chris in the sense that I don't think he will 100% be fired. I think he has a chance of staying more than people are giving him. That's mainly just due to the ownership change. I think they're going to look at him in a better light with, let's say, more optimism, considering his situation he was in, depending on how they feel about Sam, how they feel about the offense, how they feel about Ron. I think considering this is his first year, that they would consider giving him a second chance. I'm not saying he will. I'm saying it's a possibility that we need to consider. However, the other aspect of that is whether he will be calling plays if he stays as offensive coordinator. If we end up hiring Ben Johnson as our head coach, who is my prediction, I think McDonald has a chance, but I'm still going with Ben Johnson. It's really just a two-person race at this point. I think if we hire Ben, there's a solid chance that he will be calling the offensive plays, as players have recently expressed their opinions on EB and whether he should maintain that right as offensive coordinator or if that should be stripped of him. He really showed a lack of creativity this last season and didn't match up well with what our offense provided. And ultimately, I think that's going to lead to Ben Johnson coming here and calling plays. So whether EB stays or not, it'll be interesting, but I feel like there's a chance.
Don't hate that. Don't hate that. Corey, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, there's no way he's staying here if Ben Johnson comes. I'm sorry. It makes no sense. Ben Johnson's going to call his plays. I think if you see the trend of what these coaches are doing, these younger coaches now, especially in that first year, now Sirianni was calling his plays, then kind of deferred to Steichen, right? That's when they went to the Super Bowl last year. I just don't know the problems that you've heard with the players, and I don't necessarily I don't. And that's not an indictment on EB. That's more of an indictment on the players. But more or less, it's how it was delivered, right? How Ron was the deliverer of that. At some point, you got to realize it's okay to move on. It's okay to move on from this EB. And I know there's factions of the fan base that want EB. If he's here, he's here. I don't think it's going to happen if Ben Johnson is the head coach. Now let's talk about the caveat there. The caveat being, if Mike McDonald comes in here, right, and maybe he has a conversation with EB and say, okay, I'm going to give you another shot. I'll give you another shot. You can bring, you got Tavita Pritchard was your guy, so he can come back as a quarterbacks coach. Maybe you want to get rid of Randy Jordan. He's been here longer than anybody. I think there's nothing older in that building than Randy Jordan being the running backs coach here. Maybe you want to get rid of Bobby Ingram at the wide receiver. Maybe you want to bring in the tight end coach. Often like, who cares?
Right.
That's when I could see EB getting there. And then to make a long answer short, I want the guy who was able to terminate each one of these high-powered offenses in Detroit and in Houston. Mike McDonald makes the most sense for what you're trying to do. You can't be afraid to hire a defensive head coach because you're afraid to lose your offensive coordinator. It's the same thing on the defensive side of the ball. If you have a hot defense, shouldn't you be afraid to lose your defensive coordinator also? I get your quarterback is the straw that stirs the drink, but at the end of the day, you're leading with fear. You're not really leading just to lead a bunch of men to win.
Yeah.
that's what you do. Like, what have the Ravens done? They've promoted within and got these guys up there. They weren't afraid of it. So, yeah, I like Mike McDaniel. I like Mike McDonald because these guys done it, and he was able to maintain this Baltimore Ravens defense to maintain it dominant. And he was part of that first squad that beat Ohio State for the first time in a long time. So, hey, there you go, man.
Hey, there you go. I think it helps when you have guys who will play for your coaches and show, hey, I trust my coach, I trust my boss, I trust my teammates. Because let's be honest, trust is not something we have in this coaching staff with Ron Rivera and Jack and EB. I mean, when you get reports come out of training camp, mid-season, end of season, oh, Ron lost the locker room, they hate being coached hard, the EB isn't being endorsed by players. That's a bad look on both the players and the coaches, right? As coaches, you should want your players to run through a brick wall, should want to run like 2020 and 2021 Commanders, where Redskins, Washington football team, they would have played and died for Ron for what he just went through with cancer and then led them to the playoffs in 2020, right? Asterisk aside, COVID aside. 2022 and 2023 fell off the map, right? So there's that. I want to give. Go ahead, Chris.
I don't know if you can say 2022 fell off the map because at one point we were right there. I mean, I get the last like 4 games did, but like, as that season as a whole, can you really say it fell off the map?
Carson Wentz was your starting quarterback going into week 1.
I mean, that's true, but like, that's true. That's true. Carson Wentz was our starting QB, but like, because they turned it around from 1-4.
They did.
To go
but
7-5-1.
But what did they do at the end of it? They had to win 2 games to get into the playoffs. They had to beat the Giants. They had to split with the Giants.
Yeah.
Had to beat Cleveland, and they would have made it in. They couldn't do that. They fell off the map. They fell off. They were 7-5 going in there and should have beat the Giants twice. And okay, you lost to San Francisco, but who didn't lose to San Francisco?
Exactly.
Who did beat San Francisco that year? So
that year.
Yeah. I'm like,
yeah. Players played more for Taylor Heineke. But if we're being honest, we've all said it. Heineke was that spark, right? And you tie with the Giants, right? The second one is completely on the refs. How do you not call that Back to the Future backpack DPI, right? But you tied with them. So that's my whole thing, right? And then when it comes to head coach thoughts, Ben Johnson in 2023 led the Lions to the 3rd in the NFL in total yards per game, 5th in rushing, 2nd in passing, and the 5th in points per game at 27.1, right? That's great. Mike McDonald in 2023 with the Baltimore Ravens, 6th in total yards, 6th in rushing, 14th in passing. All right, cool. But 1st in the league in points allowed at 16.5. As much, and I mean, I'm sure everyone's seen my stories or the BIB stories and our last few episodes, and go like, subscribe, go follow us all over here. You're going to want to see more. I really want an offensive-minded head coach, right? Because I think we're going to take quarterback in this draft. I'm sorry, I've accepted it. We're taking Caleb Williams, if not Drake May or Jane Daniels. We're taking one of those 3 QBs regardless. Yep. What does that entail? A new head coach who probably is going to want to invest heavy into that quarterback.
Yep.
Ben Johnson made Jared Goff, in my opinion, a top 8 quarterback in this league. And top 3 in the NFC. Because I think Jalen Hurts took a step back. You have Detroit in the NFC Championship game for the first time since 91, I believe. Right?
Yeah.
You traded Matt Stafford, or you traded away Matt Stafford for Jared Goff and a few 1st-round picks. Amon-Ra St. Brown was a 3rd-round pick. Penei Sewell was a 1st-round pick. Branch and Laporta and Gibbs and Campbell.
That front office, man.
Like Brad Holmes, great GM, right? You've drafted talent out the wazoo, right? But you made this team into a top team when we were saying they might make the playoffs, they might win the division. and you've beaten Tampa Bay. You beat who did they beat?
Rams.
Thank you, the Rams at home. And you've beaten some of these high-powered teams this season. But I do think we will go Mike McDonald. And I think he is going to be my final pick, is Mike McDonald, because Corey made a good point. I think the stats make it interesting. And for the way they were playing in that defense, right? Justin Matabuke, who had their bingo sheets in Baltimore or even anywhere in the NFL, that he would have been a top defensive player for that team. Not me. Kyle Hamlin, top 3 safety in this league. Roquan Smith and Patrick Queen, one of the best linebacking duos in this league. And what have we been saying has been lacking on this defense? Linebacker play. And Justin made a good point when we were texting in the group chats. If Mike comes, Patrick might, Queen might. He said he wants to stay in Baltimore, but he might be considering what's best for his career. Follow your DC, you might become linebacker 1 over Jamin Davis.
Mm-hmm.
So as much as I want Ben Johnson and an offensive-minded coach to take this offense to the next level, I do think we need to start with revamping what we were feared the most as in the last few years, and that was defense. So I'm gonna go Mike McDonald, but it's like 1A, 1B for me.
Ultimately, they're both good options. And
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
We all can agree on that. Like, both of them, great options for head coach. We like them both. It comes down to a preference thing.
Exactly. If Ben Johnson comes, I'm not going to be like, how could you? I'm going to be excited. But if Mike comes, same thing. I'm going to be excited because it's a new day. It's a new future.
As long as it's not Dan Quinn, I think we're going to be happy.
Yeah.
This kind of reminds me of the end of the 2007 season. Y'all might not remember this. Well, y'all might be too young to remember this. So they had Spagnuolo, who was the Giants defensive coordinator. They're talking about Josh McDaniels being the next 2 hot candidates, right? But what happened, and I'm just remembering this, they bypassed the 08 season, and then they became head coach, I think, in 2009, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think Spagnuolo got a job he got his job with the Rams in 2009 rather than going into 2008 season. And then McDaniels did the same thing when he went to Denver. But I say that as a caveat is we know how great a head coaches both of these guys were. So, so sometimes you got to have that buyer beware tag to these top minds. Are they leader? Because you need a leader more than you need a coordinator at this point.
Yeah, that is true. I think they've both, like, obviously Detroit's leader is Motor City Dan Campbell. I think we can all agree he leads that team through hellfire, and they will go willingly. Because hell, I've seen some of those press conferences and those in locker room speeches. I'll go play for Dan Campbell right now. Sign me up. I'll go to Detroit and play in the cold. But I agree, we need a leader of men. You're coaching $100 million men in a $1 billion franchise in front of fans who've been dying to see something on the field. You need them to trust you. And I think since, like, obviously Harbaugh, John Harbaugh is Baltimore's leader, but if you're looking at guys who will lead, I think Mike has it a little bit more in spades than Johnson. But I think either way, having options is not a bad thing for us.
Correct.
Now, quick question, and I want all of you to answer this.
Go ahead.
So, I was talking to my brother earlier, and Tampa Bay, I guess, has no cap space or no cap room or whatever. Right?
They got none.
And you look how Baker Mayfield played this year.
Nope.
Just hear me out. If we were to hire Ben Johnson, right, do you think he might look at – because Jacoby is set to be a free agent.
Yep.
Right? And let's say we don't re-sign him. Do you think if we were to hire Johnson, he might look at Baker Mayfield and be like, "Oh, he didn't do too
No.
bad." Like, but do you bring them on as a backup just in case, like, if they say, "Nah, we ain't drafting a quarterback," and they throw a curveball at the fans in the draft?
Still no. And here's my reasoning, and then I'll let Andrew and Corey go. Baker is going to get paid in Tampa Bay. I think he'll stick around. Absolutely. He just brought them to the divisional round of the NFL playoffs in the NFC, right? You beat the Eagles, what, 32-5, 31-5, or 32-9, whatever the score was, right?
Mm-hmm.
That offense this season, as much as we're like, man, they're not going to do anything. Baker had his best career stats getting paid $4 million. They were under the cap so much, they said, Baker, we will give you a 1-year $1 million contract to come play for us. He took the job over Kyle Trask. And he had Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Cade Otton, Rashad White, and Cade Otton looks like a stud tight end this season. Congratulations to Otton. But I think he will stick around. Warm weather, good income state tax in Florida. He already has a familiar offense with Todd Bowles. And yes, you lose your offensive coordinator. You already have that trust built with Mike Evans, Godwin, Rashad White, Cade Otton, and Tristan Wirfs in that O-line. If they said, well, Baker, we'll give you 2 years, $10 million, he's not going to say no because he's a starting quarterback now. He comes to Washington. He's had to compete for the job, and you're still going to take a quarterback regardless of the first or second round. So I still say no. Corey, Andrew, if y'all want to take this next.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately it comes down to this: the hiring and paying older quarterbacks who are not superstars but also aren't the worst. Those days are over in Washington. New ownership is going to want a new quarterback who's young, got really big potential, and that comes with our early pick in the draft. I know we have a lot of money. I know we can pay a lot of money for a quarterback. But Baker isn't going to have the same ceiling as someone we draft, and ownership's going to want to build their own team around a new guy. I like Baker. I like him. He's a good quarterback, but he's not coming here.
No.
Yeah, he's going to command too much on the open market. Even, if Tampa Bay gets him, and Tampa Bay's got decisions to make on bringing, is Mike Evans going to come back next year? Because I think his contract.
He's a free agent.
Yeah, he's a free agent.
Devin White wants out.
Yeah, they've got a lot of things, and I would have said if say he had went like Dave Canales, if he had went out to Seattle or something, maybe he would follow him to Seattle since he did help rehabilitate his career. Now it does make it interesting if you do get Ben Johnson, right? And then you say, hey, look what I did for Derek Goff's career. This is what I can do. And then you go in and Washington maybe can trade back, draft a Joe Alt. Joe Alt or homeboy from Penn State. Yeah, I can't say his name. Bless you too. And that's why I hope we don't draft him. Because it'd be Lord, Jackson Smith and Jigba. That was a hard name to say, and I'm glad we didn't draft him either.
Poor Seahawks.
Yeah, so they call me a conspiracy theorist. I mean, it would work. I don't think it's gonna happen, but if Ben Johnson comes a guy, you say, hey, I can rehabilitate your career. You come, we'll give you a 3-year deal. Give you about $15 million per year and see what you can do there. And, maybe you're going to have the cap space to do it. So, and then maybe put some tools around him that can protect him. And then they go out there. Yeah. So maybe it will work, but I think we're still going to go quarterback though, unfortunately.
Yeah. I think Baker should win comeback player of the year personally, although it will be DeMar Hamlin's award, if we're being totally honest. And Joe Flacco should be in there. I think Flacco or Baker should win it. But it will be DeMar Hamlin. I mean, good on you. You came back and played and couldn't survive 3 yards to rush the ball. Also, why are you doing that, Buffalo? Why are you having your safety run the ball? Anyways, I'm getting off topic. But short answer is no. I don't think Baker comes. I think he was tremendous this year. I think he should get an apology from a lot of people in the media saying Baker can't lead a team to the playoffs. He did it for Cleveland, and now he's done it with Tampa, right? And we were all saying Tampa's going to go through a rebuild. They're not going to be good, and you win the division, and you beat the Eagles, and you have a great game against the Lions. Everyone owes that team and Baker Mayfield an apology, a slap on the wrist, and some money. But I don't think he comes to Washington now. No.
Fair enough.
Yeah. As much as I love, like I said, I like Baker Mayfield, and I think he looks great in those cream school uniforms. No. I might have to buy a Baker Mayfield cream school jersey now. But let's get into the meat and potatoes, the thick of thins, what this big episode is all about. Something we teased a little bit, and I got ideas for the rest of the offseason. Ron Rivera's worst free agent hires and draft picks in his 4-year tenure here in Washington. I've got a list. I'm sure Andrew and Chris have a list. I made sure to prep Corey at least 24 hours in advance. Hopefully that was enough time. If not, I do apologize.
I can do it off the cusp.
Actually let's put that to the test. I'm gonna start with Corey. I want us to all start with free agents first, and then we'll do draft secondly.
Yeah, you got it. I think his worst free agent signings, back to 2022. Oh boy, Andrew Norwell. And I know it's Norwell, but it is Norwell. Terrible on ice skates, the whole thing. And this was his all-pro guy in Carolina. They brought Trey Turner in here too. Those guys were absolute they're trash. They were just trash. He also the thought to once you got John Bostic off your team, just to bring him back. As a commander, you say we knew you were here as a Redskin, as a footballer, and now you're here as a commander. I mean that was just awful. Billy Three Sticks, Bill Jackson III. That man was complete and utter dog dookie. I've seen used diapers that had less stink than he did. I mean, that guy, he just came in here and stole money. I mean, they may have lied to him a little bit, just a little bit. They may have lied to him just a tiny bit. But, yeah, I mean, it's just terrible. Dontrell Inman was awful. Yeah. See, I told you I could do this off the cusp. You ain't believe me. They're just bad. You bought David Mayo.
Justin's favorite.
Yeah, just Kraft. I mean, he had a good game. The only good game he had was against Tommy DeVito, where he actually got 2 sacks. And that's telling you how bad he was. Oh my gosh, Mayo, true. These guys, there were some terrible dude. And then any guy really he picked up from Carolina that like Horn Elder. These guys that they signed throughout the time that they were here, just terrible. And the free agent, I could go on and on, but yeah.
I like that. Chris, I'm gonna let you go next because you gotta go here in a minute.
Oh God, where do I even start? You know what? Let's see. Devontae Inman. I didn't like him all that much.
The good one.
Isaiah Wright.
Oh, that's another good one.
Didn't like him all that much. Cody Barton, David Mayo. Did not like. Because he pissed me off. Okay. Let's see. William Jackson, who I was kind of high on after the 21 season.
I still kind of like him a little bit.
You and me both, Andrew. And Andrew, I don't know where you lost your mind at.
Let's see. Who else? Any guy that, kind of came from Carolina sucked. to be honest. Oh,
Commanders.
and I know like we doing free agents, but please tell me what Ron Rivera was thinking releasing our man's Cam Sims. Please tell me what he was thinking because that man owned Trayvon Diggs. That man straight owned him. And now he's
Yeah.
gone.
Wait, are you saying you don't think you didn't like Cam, or are you saying we should have kept Cam?
No, we should have kept him.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
what I
yeah,
said.
yeah. Sorry,
That's what I
was
said.
confused for a second.
What
Yeah.
the hell was Ron Rivera thinking?
Yep.
And then you let Taylor Heineke walk.
That one I
Debatable.
understood. That one I understood, but understandable.
I can't, man. That was my man's right there. That was my ride or die.
Hey yo,
They did offer more money than Atlanta did, though.
they did.
They did. So I mean, that was more.
He could compete for a starting job in Atlanta. So.
Yeah, but still, more money. It don't matter
Yeah.
what you competing in. More money, more money.
More money, more money. Yeah, that's fair. I like those. Any more, Chris, or you want to let Andrew take over?
I'm gonna let Andrew take over.
Taking over. All right. I saved all of my main names for the draft picks. So I only got 4 main names for free agency. They're all
Alrighty.
pretty recent. So here we go. David Mayo.
Yep.
Nobody here is a fan of David Mayo. Cornelius Lucas, our tackle.
Ooh, okay.
He has not had a good tenure here in Washington. He's struggled. Andrew Wiley, this last season, someone we all had hopes for to be at least a solid-ish tackle, right? He ended up being one of the worst in the entire NFL. Painful. For Cody Barton, also this last season, he had a lot of tackles in Seattle. He still had some tackles here in Washington. We learned that tackles aren't everything. He's not a good linebacker.
Fair. I'm gonna go into that. I'm gonna rip every year apart. I'm gonna go back to 2020. I'm gonna go back to COVID year, right? I got some names. How about tight end Richard Rodgers? We signed him, never played a snap for Washington. How about Nate Orchard, defensive end who stayed with us for 2 years, played 8 games, had 8 total tackles and 1 sack, right? All right. How about wide receiver Cody Latimer? Didn't play a single snap for us, right?
Went to the XFL.
Went to the FXFL. 2021, William Jackson III. I agree with David Mayo. I agree with. How about Lamar Miller, the running back? Didn't play a snap. Didn't play a snap for us. How about linebacker Jared Norris? Remember him? In 16 games between 2020 and 2021, he had 6 total tackles. That was it. How about 2022 with Andrew Norwell, like we said? How about Troy Apke, the corner who played 1 snap in 17 games? And Carson Wentz, be damned. How about this year with Andrew Wiley and Nick Gates and Cody Barton? Yep. Nick Gates had a 61.4 pass block from PFF and a 70.9 out of run. Wiley had 67.5 on pass and 66.1 on run. Right? How about Ryan Fitzmagic Patrick, right? I get he was injured, but come on now. That man.
The fact that they signed him from the jump was a joke.
Yep. Right. He wasn't. How about John Bostic? He wasn't great. Lucas, I'm back and forth on, but he has not played all that well. Right. How about letting go of Bobby McCain, who was one of your better safeties for a hot minute? He was one of our better safeties for a hot minute.
Not a fan of his.
Not a fan.
Not a fan, but he.
Not a Bobby fan.
Bobby
McCain could
McCain
not cover anything deep.
Bobby McCain, burnt toast in coffee town. Bobby McCain,
not a fan.
Fair
oh
enough.
My God.
Fair enough.
I'm agreeing with Andrew right there.
Fair enough.
You gotta get the cataract surgery, John.
Probably.
Yeah,
mercy, bro.
Probably.
That just made your list take a step down.
Hold on. Let me make sure I read my list right. Yeah, I gotta remember something.
I have never in my life. So I mean, you might as well say Al Qaeda must be a open group or something like that. The way you talking, like yeah, come on, let's join Al Qaeda.
Hey, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
He's
Wait a
the
minute.
dude.
It's canceled.
Wait a minute.
Bobby
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
I'm lying to y'all. You know he ain't shit. I'm lying to y'all.
Good job, Andrew. We did it. We got him back.
We did it. We did.
got
We
him.
caught him.
back.
Good job, Corey.
That was good. That was good.
Oh,
my
Bobby
gosh.
McCain.
That was too good.
Damn.
That was too good. That was too good. I had y'all and y'all had me. That was too good. Oh man, I had people on this list I didn't even mention because I thought they were serviceable. Like bringing back Schweitzer, Logan, Thomas Davis at linebacker was serviceable.
Oh gosh.
KPL, Kevin Pierre Lewis.
Coffee go.
He really did.
Ooh.
He really did.
Oh damn.
He really did. I mean, but we haven't had a good free agent in a while. I think, and we'll talk about best on a different episode. But let's get into these draft picks.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
Before we do the draft pick and before I leave, I got one more. And y'all gonna hate me for this one.
Oh,
I
here
think
we go.
y'all know where I'm going. Curtis Samuel.
Come on, man.
Yes.
Not
Yes.
that bad.
I got one
Get
for you.
injured.
Bro,
I got
Bro.
one for you.
Bro, I'm sorry, but that man, that first year when he was supposedly injured, I'm not buying that, bro. That man was not injured. That man came here and stole a paycheck from Washington. Last year, or in 2022, I didn't really see him produce all that much, I felt like. And then this year,
If we're talking injuries wise, I can understand the argument because he didn't play for a long time. But he's still a productive, talented wide receiver who can be good in certain situations, right? Like he's a small, quick guy that can get some runs in. I don't hate it.
What Chris is really saying is he wanted Kenny Galladay. That's what he's really saying.
Oh,
no.
Lord.
No.
Y'all forget one guy who sums
Who?
up everything in the Ron Rivera era.
Kendall Fuller.
Chris blew it.
Oh
The fact
my
we
lord.
had to go and get him after replacing D-Hop. The man's name just said what Ron Rivera did his entire career. He blew it.
He blew it.
Oh man.
Oh, I was looking for him. I was like, I knew we signed a kicker. I couldn't find his name.
I unfortunately got to go.
All right, man. It's all good. All love. I know you got school. All right, man. Stay safe. Stay safe, man.
Yeah, you too, y'all.
All right. Down to 3. I'm gonna go back to Corey. Let's get into these draft picks because man, oh Lord. Take it away. I'm gonna let Corey take you on this one. Let's go for a ride.
Yeah, I think Sadiq Charles in that 2020 draft.
Yep.
He's never really amounted to much of anything. I used to make the joke that he could be in 2021, he could be the comeback player of the year if he just played 2 drives, because he got hurt on his first drive at the Giants in 2020, didn't play the rest of the season. So that right there was the first no. And I think, you go into that second year, Jamin Davis, while he's had flashes, Jamin Davis was a reach. You had Nick Bolton. And I think there was another linebacker that went after him as well.
JOK, Jeremiah Wusu-Koramoah.
Yeah. Mr. Feed the Children himself. He's turned out to be good in Cleveland.
Yeah.
But then all these dummies who said we could have got Micah Parsons. No, you want to trade up.
Trade up.
I thought they should have traded him, got Justin Fields, but that's a different story for a different day.
Fair enough.
But yeah, those guys, that was a bad draft. And then last year, I thought, and I said this, and I got crucified for it. I like this guy a lot, but at the end of the day, Jahan Dotson was a reach. Like, let's not be let's not kid ourselves. He was a reach. He probably would have been there later on in the draft. He might have been there in the second round.
Yeah.
Like I took a lot of heat for what I said. I was just like this kind of feels like a reach, and so far it's looked like
It's looked like it.
kind of a reach. Antonio Gandy Golden, AGG, everybody, the great flamer from Liberty, flamed out, terrible. De'Ami Brown, terrible, Kenny, terrible. He literally, AJ Brown had more yardage in 2 games against us than he had in his whole entire career. Chase Young. How do you start out with just flaming out with Chase Young? You were just because he was a local product and Dan Snyder loved him, and then you draft him. But the most asinine thing, and that really sums up, and I'm not touching, I know y'all gonna probably touch Emmanuel Forbes. That's low-hanging fruit for a lot of people. I'm not touching it because he got to give him another year.
Yeah.
Cameron Cheeseman. Do y'all know?
Thank you.
Cameron Cheeseman. Do y'all know a young man by the name of Trey Smith? You might have heard. Oh,
yes.
That's right. He's for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yep.
That fool was drafted after Cam Cheeseman.
Yeah.
We traded for the damn guy. And you know what? He didn't do anything. That's why you don't eat cheese. You don't eat cow's milk. You don't drink cow's milk, boys and girls. You get lactose intolerant, and you got a lot of shit up your ass afterwards. That's what happened. Ron Rivera traded up for this fool.
He did.
He traded up for him a long snapper. You can get a brain dead monkey to go long snap. No offense to all lines. Let me stop because I know they got camps for long snaps and everything. I mean, you could teach anybody to go and be a long snapper. Just say, look, I'm gonna give you a week. Just learn how to get the ball to Tressway and everything. Tressway, like he literally, the summing up of Cam Cheeseman is the man went out to LA and didn't get assaulted in the streets. He got assaulted by the Crips that were AKA the Los Angeles Rams. Not the real Crips out there wearing the wrong colors. He literally got assaulted on TV on CBS. If that was anything else, you'd have to erase it from your browser. That's how bad that was. Okay.
Oh,
I'll let y'all go with that. But Cam Cheeseman, damn, that one, brothers.
Do you hear me? Andrew, go ahead.
I'm sensing some TikTok clips out of this episode.
Hey, there you go.
Man. All right, so I think somehow Corey may have got some pre-access to my list, so we'll be picking around here.
So some data leaks have happened.
My finale in Cameron Cheeseman, but here, I'm just gonna go top to bottom right here. De'Ami Brown, 3rd round pick. Am I correct?
Yep.
Straight from UNC, Sam Howell's buddy. Can't do anything. No hands, no route running. Antonio Gandy Golden. You also mentioned him. Failure. Shadiq Charles, I have. Heath Ishmael. Jamin Davis. I don't think that was brought up.
He was. He brought him up.
Oh, you did? Okay. Yeah. 2nd year sort of had to come back, but like overall, no, he didn't work out.
He's faster in the streets than he is on the field.
Yep. Sorry, I already said Jamin Davis. John Bates, tight end. Didn't work out well. And then Chase Young, I put question marks next to. Is that up for debate? I'm going with Chase Young as a bad draft pick. It was 2nd overall, too early to grab him. Could have had Justin Herbert. Didn't pan out.
Or Tristan Wirfs.
Yeah. We've had this conversation a lot of times, but yeah. And then my finale, Cameron Cheeseman, who we traded up for, drafted as a long snapper, and just this season finally cut him because he sucks.
Yeah. I don't think John Bates was a bad draft pick because they never use him.
They don't use him, I feel like, because he's not great.
I don't think at that spot you have to be great. Because I think he's a good blocker, right? And nowadays, you've got to be. I think he'd probably be a better, like maybe a fullback or something. fullback, kind of a receiving back. Maybe try to treat him in like a use check type guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I like Master John Bates. He's a baller. When he was at Boise State,
We'll see.
and the guy was a track athlete in high school. He won all these state track meets, and I think like the long jump or something, shot put, something crazy. And I think he's from Oregon originally, but yeah, I like Johnny Bates, and hopefully they can get somebody in here who can kind of work with him. And I think the tight end room has been neglected.
Yeah,
so I don't think anybody, and it's just been like, especially since Pete Hayner left, it hasn't been in a good spot.
I think my main argument for him was just big picture. We drafted him and looked at what he's produced. It's been very little, not at all what we hoped for, but I do appreciate that he's a really good blocking tight end. We don't have that. He's definitely our best blocking tight end. Big picture, he just didn't produce what we hoped he would produce is sort of my idea there.
Yeah. I mean, I think at that game, you can make the same argument for Cole Turner at tight end. We took him a round later in 2022.
He was 7th round, right?
He was 5th.
Yeah, because I want us to draft James Mitchell out of Virginia Tech.
Earlier than I thought.
Yeah, and
True.
But everybody hyped him up though. Like y'all remember, like everybody was hyping Cole Turner up. And I sit there, I was just like, okay. I said, well, and then he got hurt the first game, and he really didn't get back. And I said, well, you got it this year. Let's see what you can do. The man was on the national missing and exploited children's list. Seriously, I searched in Turner in Maryland, and they had a picture of him, and it said Cole Turner, originally from University of Nevada. Like he was literally on the missing exploited children's page, because I mean you didn't know where it was, and it was no explanation. Like in Buffalo, the game against Buffalo, he had a couple of good catches, and then he was gone.
He disappeared.
It was like the snap. It was just like in the Infinity Wars and everything, right?
Yeah,
everybody came back after the snap or whatever. It's like, your 24-year-old brother is actually, like 30 now, but you're still the oldest sibling, but you're 17 still. So that's why I was like, where's Cole Turner? Like did somebody help? Like, did he see something? Was he on the FBI
most wanted
witness? He was in witness protection.
America's Most Wanted.
Hey, I mean, my God, he was terrible.
I think the argument for him was he was getting all this hype from like the practice tapes of him making those crazy catches and everything. He's got good hands, but I mean, obviously he hasn't produced on the field yet. So
I mean, when Logan Thomas is, commanding what 15 mil, it feels like, I kind of got to use him. I mean, y'all basically stole my entire list. I'm gonna go just year by year. 2020 Chase Young, Sadiq Charles, AGG. I think an argument could be made for Khaleke Hudson, 5th round linebacker, pick 162. I think because he hasn't gotten the snap count that he's getting hated for, but I really like him. So I have question marks next to him.
He deserves the snap count, though. He deserves more.
He does.
Snap count. I mean, we've seen really good stuff from him from when he's played, and I still believe in him. And for a 5th round linebacker, I feel like that's not a huge loss.
No,
but
but it could be better. 21 Jamin Davis, De'Ami Brown, Cam Cheeseman. I've got Dax Milne on here strictly because of punt and kick return. You ain't shit, white boy. Shaka Toney, edge rusher. I really liked him coming out, and then you get suspended for indefinite. Get your ass out of here. St. Juice, or as we call him, St. Groupie, has a case. As much as he's a good corner, he just be grabbing too much. Penalties for what reason?
No interceptions either. He had
no
one.
Interceptions.
He had one against Atlanta. That's it.
Yep. And you wonder why we call him St. Groupie. He'd just be handsy. I looking like Vince McMahon, just getting handsy.
I still sort of like St. Groupie.
Like he is not the worst cornerback in the world. I would take him over a lot in the league, over a few in the league. But if we're talking top 10, top 15, he's not in that conversation.
Oh, no, not at all.
No,
not top 10, not top 15.
No. 2022. Yeah, 2022 is Fedarian Mathis for me. We're if Cole Turner is America's Most Wanted, Phil Mathis is off this planet. I can't find this man in the snap count. It is hard to find
Injuries
him.
ruined him. Injuries.
They did, but also it was a bad draft pick. You re-signed Payne for what? And then Chris Paul for 2022. Chris Paul.
Yep.
I know. I'm
Really?
not done. Yeah. I won't
Paul?
Chris Paul. I won't touch the 23 draft class because it is low-hanging fruit. And then Jahan Dotson is a 50-50 for me. But yes, Chris Paul.
A 7th round draft pick. Really?
Yes.
Oh, you gotta explain this one to me. You gotta explain that one.
Was he 7th round?
He was
Yeah,
seventh
he's a
round.
7th round pick. I think
Okay,
he was
seventh
pick in
round.
the draft.
No, he was 7th round, 230, and then we took Christian Holmes, 740.
Oh, sip.
Oh yeah. I think for me I think he had promise personally, but between injuries, what you've done, Chris Paul, not the point guard. I'm talking the offensive guard. I think for me, something about him just didn't click. Like I wanted him to succeed. He out of this season alone, he took 439 snaps, allowed 5 sacks and a penalty. He has a 27.8 pass blocking grade. Is that all on him? No. But for what we were trying to do, and that's in 2 years. Like I wanted Chris to succeed because we needed offensive line help badly. But Nick Gates is center and guard, and then going from him to Paul did not make a great jump. It wasn't an improvement. It didn't help the team. I want him to succeed, but I can't overlook the fact that yes, he's a 7th round draft pick, but you've done next to nothing with it, with your opportunities.
I agree he hasn't done a lot and he's not been amazing, but I feel like if we're talking about bad picks or not,
Mm-hmm.
the fact that it was a 7th round pick,
It is.
I feel like it's not an awful pick for where we got him.
Yeah, that's what I'm that's why I'm like, I'm and really did he play that much his rookie year? He played like 1 game his rookie year, didn't he?
Let me go back on the tape and look. Let me go back and look.
I think
At 2023,
2022.
he took 1 snap and he took 66 snaps, had a penalty.
Yeah, he played in that Dallas game at the
Yeah.
end of the year. And then he replaced, like you said, he replaced Sadiq in the middle of the season. So really, theoretically, it's like Sam Howell. This was his rookie year. So yeah, that's the only thing. I understand where you're coming from. I was just like, interesting.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's not the worst pick in the world, so that's why I have him like at last, like question marks, like same with Dotson, it's question marks.
Right.
But I mean, we've seen 7th round draft picks perform well above expectations, and for how bad this offensive line got, you could not have gotten worse, and you've let up 5 sacks, had a 27 pass block grade, and he still had 1 or 2 penalties. You really didn't help the situation.
Yeah.
But that's my reasoning.
All right.
Jahan's at 50-50 for me. Ismail was on my list, but he really didn't do much. CHEESEMAN's on there. Will Bradley King's on there. Mathis. I really wanted to put Forbes on this list. I really wanted to, but it's his rookie year. Like y'all said, so I don't want to touch the low hanging fruit. It's easy, but it's not worth it.
Sure it is. Go ahead. You know you want to. Go on, do it.
I want to. I really want to.
Take the easy way out. It's fine.
I'm here to defend him. You can attack. I'll be his defense right here.
You know what?
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
I'm gonna save it for when we do our redrafts. I'm gonna save it for a redraft. I'm gonna cop my way out. I'm gonna stay face.
That. Come on now. You gotta leap out. You gotta leap out. Leap out on faith. You gotta go do it.
I gotta stay face real quick. I gotta do it. No, Chase Young on the other hand, man, this motherfucker right here. This motherfucker right here. He did nothing in the NFC Championship game either. He did nothing. Nick Bosa got stronger with him on his bench. He said, "Who was on my bench? You ain't taking my sacks away." Oh, hell no. Let me go sack. Like, Bosa got stronger with Young on his bench. I don't understand this white man. You got stronger with him. What happened? This man leveled up when he saw Chase Young coming. He said, "Oh, bet? I'm taking your stats too." She. Oh, but my knees hurt. I had to train with Von Miller, and my knees hurt. You motherfucker, you cost us a second. I mean, we basically traded Chase Young for Adam Peters, so winning in my book. But number 2 overall, really, Herbert has looked pretty well. Tua's looked decent. You could have had your solidified left tackle in Tristan Wirfs. Just saying.
Yeah.
You could have traded down and gotten the haul. But I digress. Is there anybody else you want to add to your lists before we wrap this up?
Got through mine.
I'm good.
Yeah. It like there's some shining stars in. I don't want to say shining stars. There's stars in some of these drafts. We'll touch on that on another date. But Corey, again, I can't speak with words. Can't thank you enough for coming on staying late with us for a loaded episode.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Guys, don't forget to like and subscribe here on the channel. Head over to On The Warpath, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. Go follow him. He's got some amazing content. He's done some collabs with other content creators, and go watch all of that. Like, subscribe here on the channel. Go follow us over on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. Like I said, we got a lot of stuff coming up around draft time. I think we're gonna go live again for the draft. I think we're gonna do that again because we had a lot of fun, and we're gonna try and get some people on. And like I said, keyword try, folks. All right, we're trying it. I'm making it work. All right, we're trying.
Don't try, do. You gotta do. What did Yoda say? There's no try.
Or do not.
Yeah.
There was no try. Well, I mean, Luke did try with his sister, and then we ain't talking about that right now. Empire Strikes Back was a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away for our goddamn reason. All right, Andrew, Corey, y'all want to add anything up?
Ben Johnson coming soon.
Where did you pull that out of? Wait a minute. Where did you pull that out of? This motherfucker. Andrew was a closeted Lions fan. We just found out. Breaking news.
I've been waiting.
He has been waiting.
Waiting to tell you guys.
Hey. So wait. But why Detroit? Because that's now that's a second franchise with nothing to root for the last 30 years.
I'm not actually a huge Detroit fan. My friend who's a Detroit fan.
Fair enough.
He
fair enough.
I guess in an art class. So yeah.
Hey, fair enough.
Repping Ben Johnson.
Hey, there we go. Repping Ben Johnson. I'm all here for it. Hey, we want Johnson or we want McDonald in DC, and let's hope we get one. If somehow we got both, I'm calling Fleece of the Century.
Oh,
that ain't happening.
It ain't happening.
It
ain't happening. But if it did, Fleece of the Century.
Oh Lord, yeah.
Man, I'll be here for it. But like I said, like, subscribe, go follow us, go follow Corey, go follow Tone, Rio, and Washington Daily, our sponsors. And let's hope we have a good Super Bowl. That's all I'm hoping. Let's just have a good Super Bowl. That's all I'm asking for. And hopefully we know our head coach within the next week, because we will be here to talk about it, and so will everyone else. Like I said, like, subscribe, go follow us. Don't forget to stay ballin'. We'll see y'all out there.